Alright, hello and good evening, everybody. I'm Zidon here for Smite VOD, bringing you something a little bit different tonight. Typically, I just upload the stuff off of the Smite game channel, typically the North American and European competitive videos and matches and all that fun stuff. Today, we're going down to South America. We're going to be taking a look at a matchup, a best-of-3 matchup for that matter, between Team Ragnarok and Team Dupla de Cinco. These are Spanish, Portuguese names, so they're going to be horrible. I do a lot of casting for the EGL, and dealing with the European names is pretty rough. And down in South America, I believe I'm supposed to roll every single R for like 5-10 seconds or something to that effect. I'm not entirely sure the, what's what I'm looking for here, the procedure established for Rs in either of those languages. So we're going to see how this all goes as we get this underway. This is something I kind of just decided I was doing a couple hours ago. Someone asked about the Chinese and South American region games. And I decided that, you know, I'll take a look at this, see what I can do. Got everything all set up, the client's all working, I get into the games. But apparently there's not currently a player history match stats lookup page like there is for North America and Europe. So unfortunately, I have some issues with actually finding matches. I did come up with a full match worth of replays though. We're going to take a look at those tonight. And going forward, I'm going to try and snag the match replay IDs as they go live, whenever they're actually going live. I'm not entirely sure. The site was in Spanish or Portuguese or something. It was, you know, language barrier. Google Translate helped, but it only helped so much. That said, before I sit here rambling for any longer, we're going to go ahead and actually switch into the game. I might not have actually mentioned so far, but we do not have proper picks and bans. For whatever reason, the picks and bans lobby just does not want to pop up. That was a little bit of a technical issue I was running into here a few moments ago. So without further ado, let's go ahead and in theory switch over to the main Smite window. There we go, we are in game, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to begin this underway here in a moment. Looking at these teams, let's pull the bans up onto screen, take a look at what these teams have done so far. Looking over at the side of Ragnarok, on the left side of your spectator UI, in the blue trunks, defending that Titan of Order today. I'm just checking, make sure I have my mouse hidden on the screen. I do not. I'll be sorting that out here as well. But for that blue team over there, we're going to be taking a look at their lineup. They did ban out the Kali, Zhongqi, and Serket. But for their actual player lineups, it looks like we'll have Madrigadeo. These names are already going to be screwing me up. Translates roughly to Night Owl. I'll be calling him that in theory. He'll be playing the 80 carry Hunter... Excuse me, the Jungle Freya. We have Arcade as the support, Geb, Chak being played by Single in the solo lane. In the mid lane, Prufia Nuwa, and finally Ext as the Hunter Ram. For the red team, right side of your spectator UI, defending the Titan of Chaos, we have Skrill as the solo lane Ra, Kenway as the 80 carry Hunter Apollo, Athena as the Hunbats in the jungle, Cyan in the mid lane as Agni, and finally Hugh, perhaps... Hugh, one of the two, as the support Athena. Dupla de Cinco, translates roughly to pair of fives, has banned out Thor, Mercury, and Sylvanas. So taking a look at these team rosters and lineups, really nothing standing out of the ordinary compared to what we typically see for North America or Europe. The bans are really not surprising. Kali, Serket, Thor, Mercury, all extremely powerful and potent assassins. The Sylvanas, pretty strong, has a lot of crowd control ability. His Wrath of Terra ultimate is quite similar to Geb's Cataclysm, except it does damage over time, rather than a straight upfront percentage-based amount of damage. Also taking a look at the Zhongqi ban, you don't want to have a guy running around who can essentially just press 4, hold forward, and do tons of damage to your entire team lineup. That said, guys, let's get this game underway finally. A couple little pings coming out in the left and right side jungle, perhaps pointing out where they want to go, where they don't want to go. We'll see what they do as the game gets underway. Will we see some early game action? Who knows? We'll find out here shortly. Not a lot in the way of early wards. Probably just going to see a couple placed down by the support for the left side jungle. He'll be backing. We saw Arcade head back to base to buy up a couple of mana potions, just to help him out in the early lane phase a little bit. It looks like Dupla de Cinco might have been looking for a little bit of an early catch. We see them roaming around as a bit of a 5-man cell here in the left side jungle, perhaps looking to catch someone out. They have to watch out for this ward here, though, by the Harpies. That almost spotted out Kenway, but the wall will have saved them. That ward, I don't know, just a deep ward placed by them for now. So it looks like on the back of that, Hugh, or Hui, we'll go with Hugh. Hugh will be heading back, picking up some potions of his own before heading back out to the jungle to help his teams as the harpies begin to spawn here in just a few moments. Taking a look down at the items players have picked up, nothing terribly out of the ordinary. Looks like Ra's going to be looking for a Warlock Sash or possibly even Ethereal Staff as his first item as the game goes on. Didn't go for the Tiny Trinket. He's going to have a little bit less sustain in lane, but he's going to have a bit of an extra health buffer due to the first item pickup. Other than that, going up against a Chalk, neither one of them early on is going to really have the luxury of killing each other, unless someone really misplays pretty hugely. Chalk has a good amount of healing, Ra has a good amount of healing as well. It's largely going to come down to the first items they get on their first back. If Chalk looks to go offensive, he could potentially look to burst down Ra. On the flip side, if he can't burst him down, Ra will just be able to sit in his Solar Blessing, heal himself up all the way back to full. So depending on how that goes, it will be a bit of an interesting matchup. As we take a peek over at what the actual solo laners are doing. Just a real quick thing also, anyone in chat can just tell me to make sure the audio's okay, everyone can hear me and the game audio's okay, that would be great. I checked on my end, but sometimes OBS likes to do weird things before it actually gets live to the stream. Other than that, as we just flip around the map a little bit, taking a look at this solo lane matchup, Rom and Apollo is a pretty typical dual lane matchup, rather. I think it's words. I think I said solo lane, but dual lane. Rom and Apollo, pretty typical matchup we see these days. They counter each other fairly well. Apollo will have the advantage with his Audacity passive, giving him the increased auto attacks for 5 straight, because for some reason he says, oh, you know what, I have 2 hands. I can shoot multiple projectiles at once. Thank you guys for the audio check. Very much appreciated. And Rom, on the other hand, has a bunch of slows. He has the crippling assault, or rolling assault, excuse me, to pursue Apollo after using the moves, as well as slows on bunches of attacks to allow him to keep in range of Apollo if he chooses to be aggressive. His Astral Hours also allow him to shoot through minions for up to 5 shots in a row, which can be quite an advantage if Apollo decides to hide behind some minions and try to avoid some auto attacks. As it looks like, might have a little bit of a disconnect there. Chalk running into a wall right now. We'll see if a pause comes out right now. Looks like Athena heading over to that left lane, possibly looking to pick up a gank. For now, just going to be helping to clear out that wave of minions. There might have been a little bit of mind gaming baiting there, perhaps, as Chalk running into a wall for a few seconds. Night Owl heading to mid lane, does get caught in the Agni stun. Hunbat's rotating around as well, wasn't quite in range to look for a gank. Left lane though, looked like they might have looked for the taunt onto Ext, but they were not quite able to find it. It is just for us that the in-game sounds are for English, because there's a decline option. Mid lane, Night Owl up in Valkyrie's discretion. Was able to escape a little bit of a confrontation there. We missed the first half of it. Did see she got out safely. Right lane, Signal actually having a little bit of trouble versus Skrill. Right about the level 5 mark, Skrill's going to have the ability to push these waves down quite quickly using a Solar Blessing as well as a Celestial Beam. Chalk with only the Thunder Strike is going to have a little bit more trouble with that for the time being. So that'll leave some opportunities for Skrill to look for some extra harass, or just for a full-on engagement and commit to a kill if he has it. So, Celestial Beam. Searing Pain is online, can look to snipe away a kill as well. But, other than that, the 3-minute mark has arrived. We do see the supports and junglers rotating over to take these mid-harpies. Right side harpies look like they're going to go the way of Ragnarok, so for now, 1-for-1 trade on the mid-harpies. Overall, a fairly slow game for the time being. If we flip over to the minion killed tab, we do see some disparities starting to pop up already, though. Rom is up about twice as many minion kills as Apollo. That's a decent little gold lead so far. That'll help later as they go back to base. We look at Golden Hand on that same sort of idea. We do see, where is he on the list? Rom actually not terribly far ahead of Apollo. Those early game minions apparently not worth as much as I was thinking. Taking a look at that now. Like, we have way to counter my point, guys. Just proved me wrong here. Thought I had a good point going. Evidently not. Other than that, though, we have a pretty slow game going. We'll see, as I like to talk about sometimes the level 5 timing pushes, so to speak. When you first hit level 5, you have your ultimate online over your opponents. You have a pretty huge advantage. A lot of the ultimates are pretty big deals. Agni, being able to throw down that Meteor. Nuwa, potentially go up in the Fire Shards. Astral Barrage, Cross the Skies, Defender of Olympus. If you have level 5 and your opponent doesn't, that is a massive, massive advantage in lane. I'm a little disappointed we didn't see really any of that coming out anywhere so far. Valkyrie's Discretion was used once by Freya to escape in that mid-lane engagement, But other than that, some pretty passive play overall. We do see a taunt coming out on the duo lane. Did find both the support and the AD carry, but they were not really able to follow up on that, which is a little unfortunate. We're going to see some blood so far. And yeah, mentioned only the Thunderstrike. Thunderstrike is a very, very potent ability, but between Celestial Beam and Solar Blessing, Ra still has the edge when it comes to the wave clear. So just taking a look at that too. Player damage on the screen right now. Ra and Rom sitting up there, but everyone else not really harassing a whole lot. A couple potions worth of damage tops. And a 3-man rotation coming from Dupla de Cinco, securing their own mana buff. Be curious, as Apollo goes back to base for the first time, Golden Hand 1750 is going to be looking to finish up those Devourers, Gauntlets, get those stacks building, or he could just go back to lane, play it safe, get another wave of minions, delay the back here onto Rom, because, you know, why would they want to do stuff like backing when they're sitting in the jungle backing, when they can screw with the casters by not doing it? Yay, teams. Way to go, guys. So, taking a look at now, so we're going to take a look at a lot of things, because there's not a lot going on, obviously. We're going to be... Finally, Apollo went back to base. Devourers, Gauntlets, and a Tier 1 boots picked up. Rom will likely go back to base himself here, pick up his own Devourers, Gauntlets. He wants to get those stacks building to keep them even with Apollo. You don't want to fall behind on those. It's a pretty decent amount of power and life still put off those. And if it comes down to a duel, you don't want to be in a situation where you're behind your opponent, your opposing hunter, if you're boxing 1v1 in the lane. Other than that, looks like no one else really has backed. Ra did at some point. He does have the Golden Sash now instead of the Tier 1 Sash. It wasn't quite able to afford the Warlock Sash quite yet. Once those stacks are built, he'll be looking forward to having that little bit of extra health. It's very nice to be able to stay alive and actually make use of the healing you get from yourself. If you just kind of you throw your heal over time down on the ground, you stand it, and you get burst down in 2 seconds flat. Healing's not really effective. Fear no evil, though, coming out of this right side jungle. Single caught out. Storm Cold with Searing Pain will miss. Shield coming in from Geb. Gonna keep him alive for now as they look to continue this engagement, perhaps. Night Owl in the front line looking for Cyan. He's off to the side of the fight. Main fight coming out of Cataclysm, finding 2. Looks like possible blocking of Fire Shards coming out. Aegis is down. Not gonna be enough. That's going to be a kill for Proofy as well as Night Owl. First and second blood of the game going the way of Ragnarok. They're looking for more here. They did catch Cyan out in a banish, but he did manage to Path of Flames out, as well as Hugh getting out of there in time using the preemptive strike. So good retreat there by Dupla de Cinco, able to get out, only losing 2, as well as a good pickup there in the jungle by Ragnarok, finding blood. Left lane though, Kenway in a spot of trouble. X is looking to secure this up. Astral Arrow coming out, applying that slow. Astral Barrage was already used. He is low health, cannot really look to dive here. Potions have been popped, trying to stay alive, but for the time being, it looks like it's going to be a wash there over in that solo lane. Mid lane, though, more aggression coming out. Night Owl looking to dive on the tower. Tower has the pulse active, could not find the last attack before he had to back off. You do not want to get caught out under a tower by that monkey. Especially got to be careful those cooldowns. Confound coming out by Athena. The monkey's coming around the back, looking to pick up blood. Unfortunately for him, Fear No Evil still on cooldown for a little bit. Not going to be able to catch those guys down and out for the time being. So good aggression coming out. Finally, didn't want to, unfortunately, end up with this being a rather slow game for 35, 40 minutes, however long this game ends up going. That would be disappointing. I have been there, trying to cast a Joust tournament one day, having the teams freeze the lane for 9 minutes straight, and by freeze, I mean not even auto-attack once for 9 minutes straight, is horrible, horrible. You run out of things to say. You go into full-blown story mode, you run out of stories, and it just goes downhill from there. But fortunately, action came out. Athena looking for the taunt left lane once again, does find it. The moves coming forward from Kenway, looking to aggress on this. Night Owl is here, though. That's a Cataclysm, finding 2, looking for the kill onto Kenway. One more will find it, not getting up into skies in time. Fear No Evil, though. The rest of Dupla de Cinco rotating around now. Sacred Monkey not quite finding him up, but Cyan with a Rainfire in the backline did find the kill onto Arcade. And looking for one more, perhaps here. The taunt from Athena. It was not yet off cooldown. They could look overhand smash. Valkyrie's discretion was forced out of Night Owl. He was able to survive that, but Dupla de Cinco finding 1 for 2 in this left lane engagement. And hopefully going forward in these team fights, I will remember there is in fact a team fight UI, like this little thing I just put up on the bottom of the screen that I always tend to forget about as I go into play-by-play mode. That said, on the back of that engagement, with 2 members down from Ragnarok, still's back in base. They're looking to aggress on the Gold Fury. It is low. 2 members down. This is not good. That's going to be a double kill for Proof right there with the Fire Shards. Across the sky coming in. Could look for a kill into Night Owl right here. Potentially, but they do have to be careful. Hey, look, the team fight UI I mentioned. Rainfire coming down on Proofy, doing some good damage. Did not find the stun combo. It looks like that's otherwise going to be a wash, but nice save there by Proofy, denying that Gold Fury attempt as well as picking up 2 kills for himself. Now it looks like Ragnarok just going to go ahead and play it safe, pick up their own buffs, but on the right side jungle, looks like Single did manage to seal away the attack speed buff. I can tell you for sure that Athena is going to be disappointed about that one when he gets back into that jungle and finds out it is missing. Losing that movement speed is probably the worst thing possible as a jungler in Smite. Yeah, the attack speed is nice, but as a jungler, your team expects you to be everywhere and anywhere at night. Defender of Olympus, though, dropping down to the left side jungle. If the camera would cooperate, looks like Night Owl caught out potentially here. Shield is out, not going to stop that taunt, however. He will be forced low. Can he get up? Cataclysm coming out from Arcade, trying to save Night Owl. Trophy rotating over now as well, looking for the stun combo. Does find two. Astral Barrage raining down on them as well. Kenway and Cyan are both low. Aegis was used. Mysterious Fog from Proofy going to be picking that one up. Looks like Kenway's safe for the moment, but the Monkey has rotated over now in the backline, looking for Proofy. Stone Shield from Gab, going to save him for the time being. He's running for his life. Athena going to pull back off of that one. As Wei comes around from the side, they could look to re-engage here potentially. Sacred Monkey was just used. That was his route back into this fight. Hugh has to be very careful. There was that preemptive strike used rather wisely perhaps to get out of that one. With those waves and minions come down, you don't want the extra assistance coming out of them. They do still hurt, especially prior to having Sovereignty online as a support, so you got to watch out for that. Right side, it looks like Skrill did manage to secure his mana buff on the steal attempt from Shock. He'll be able to pick that one up. Keeping his mana full in lane will, of course, help. Night Owl left lane, potentially in a 1v3 situation as he does force the retreat from Athena. Back in the duo lane, though. Hugh is still low as X looks for some aggression onto him and Kenway. For now, he's just going to turn his attention, clear out that wave as they go ahead and look for whatever they can find, honestly. This is from the Latin American, South American, I'm not entirely sure on what the actual region restrictions are. Basically, the South American equivalent of the wild cards or regionals from the lower bracket of that. I should have had info up, but like I kind of touched on earlier, this was a bit of a rush setup thing, so I have no clue what's going on. I don't actually know what the stakes are, though. Mid-jungle, Kenway gets caught out and bursts down. Good catch there. Astral Barrage finding a kill onto someone as well. X low dropping down. Arcade getting picked up by the Monkey. Monkey escaping over the wall with the somersault. Will get away. Overall, ending up being a 2 for 2 in the jungle. Did not manage to find the damage buff steal that they were looking for. So yeah, this is essentially the equivalent of the wild card or regional tournaments down in South America. They have a single world seat, I believe, on the line, and this is from the bottom brackets of that. I only found a couple of replays that actually work, so I went with what I could find. Other than that, I believe this is, after this, there's one more tournament coming up in the beginning of December that decides who actually from South America will go to Worlds. So they get a chunk of gems as well. I believe it's 30,000 split between the players on the team. So it's a pretty decent little chunk of gems getting paid out as well. Other than that, though, yeah, there really wasn't much attention to this. I don't believe there was an English stream of this tournament at all. It was all Latin American. This is for the Smite VOD YouTube channel. A couple people had asked about and mentioned stuff from China, from South America. I don't believe I'm actually getting any stuff from China due to it mostly being behind paywalls and Chinese sites. I kind of get Spanish and Portuguese and all that stuff. Looks like possible aggression coming out this left side jungle, but they will manage to dodge Shockwave using the preemptive strike as well as that Path of Flames. Over in the solo lane, we do see a little bit of harassment coming out from Skrill onto Single, but the Rain Dance going to come out, heal him right back up. Be curious if Ra looks to pick up a Divine Ruin later, but looks like Fear No Evil coming in the right lane, not going to catch X. He did manage to Rolling Salt out it up in the Astral Barrage. Reinforcements are on the way. We might have a full-blown team fight breaking in the left lane. X still alive. Stone Shield coming out to keep him up and healthy. Taunt not going to connect. He is still free to do what he wants. He does get caught by that stun in the back. Valkyrie's Discretion coming out from Freya, though, will find Hwei all the way in the backside. Proofy rotating over now. Sacred Monkey, though, coming out for the teleport. That will be the Fire Shards, potentially. Aegis gonna block the killing blow. Cyan is low as well. Cooldown's coming up. Metal Shards not gonna find anybody. Shining Metal, excuse me. Path of Flames used by Cyan to escape that one. It looked like Proofy might have been looking to pick up 2 instead of 1. Perhaps going for Agni instead would have found a single kill. Either way, on the back of the fight, they're going to be looking to pick up a hard-earned Gold Fury for with no contestation over it whatsoever. So overall, taking a look at the state of the game, we're about 14 minutes in. Taking a look at the golden experience difference, 4,600 now on the back of that Gold Fury in favor of Ragnarok, as well as 6,700 or so experience. 10 kills for Ragnarok, 4 for Dupla de Cinco. We take a look down at the items for these teams right now. Freya has picked up the Hasten Fatalis. Night Owl's gonna be liking that one. That's kind of like the key item on Freya. As soon as you pick that up, you're able to stick to someone. With the Pulse, you slow them down, you close into melee range potentially, hit the Irradiate, increase your damage to an insane amount, and then just kill them. It looks like they might kill you, pop Valkyrie's Discretion, go up into the air, become immune to damage, and then do an insane amount of damage on top of that, and people die, and Freya, banner. Kind of a crazy story with her. She got nerfed, and then suddenly in North America and Europe, it's like, oh yeah, she's really good, we should ban her now, despite the nerf, and now she's like considered top, must-pick, must-ban kind of thing. Rolling Assault coming out from X onto Kenway left lane, could look for aggression here as Freya's rotating around as well. Pulse, excuse me, is out for the slows, not finding the hits she needs. Defender of Olympus coming down now, will they find it ahead of time before the Defender of Olympus lands? Yes, they will. Night Owl gonna be picking himself up another one. Perhaps looking for more aggression. Arcade looking for an opportunity to Cataclysm or Shockwave. But it looks like for now, Dupla de Cinco just going to play it safe, pull back to the tower. They don't want to get caught out right now. They're a little behind. They have to be careful. They don't want to let this lead grow to an insurmountable difference that they can't manage to pull back. Some more aggression. Solo lane's a bit of an island. They do their own thing. Occasionally looks like people might die. Fear no Evil coming out right side. Arcade will get forced back to the tower. Stun coming down. Cataclysm finds 3 though, as he manages to get out of that one alive. Astral Barrage coming down as well. Fire Shards. Gonna get Aegis out of once again, but Freya is up in the air. Valkyrie's Discretion gonna pick that one up, looking for Hugh as well in the back. X is there as well. Shield wall coming down. Single gonna pick that one up with a Thunderstrike across the wall. He's now looking to get out of this one. He's in the middle of a 1v2 potentially. Perfy there is there to back him up, as well as a little bit of reinforcements from that side jungle. Dupla de Cinco still does have to be careful with the Clay Soldiers as well as that wave of minions. They have the tower aggro under control for the time being. But it looks like three men still standing for Dupla de Cinco. They were not willing to give that tower up. They do manage to defend it. It will live to fight another day. So some good aggression coming out after those first couple slow minutes where it was kind of boring. Skrill gets caught up in the banish. This could potentially be bad. Ra doesn't really have much escape. A nice stun coming down from Cyan. Gonna stop that potential engagement. Left side boxing match coming out once again from the two hunters. Looking to finish this one up. Support, though, is here from Ragnarok. It looks like Defender of Olympus will have been forced out once again. Athena's going to be there to turn into 1v2, but Geb is coming around the corner as well. They could look to continue this fight. Astral Barrage not off of cooldown quite yet. Another 15 seconds on that. And it looks like with the teams rotating over, Ragnarok just... the second I say they're going to kind of back off a little bit, they'll go and full-on engage again. Shock did just go back to base, so he's going to be looking to pick up some new shiny things. And it looks like left lane, no fight will break out over there. Night Owl looking to do his best to delay this tower defeat over in the right lane. It is quite low. Skrill going to be forced back as the minion wave is killed off. Left lane, though, X has to be careful. There's the Fear No Evil coming out from the Monkey. They could look to dive this one right now. Overhand smash will come down, but Geb has once again arrived. They're looking to engage this. They have to be careful, though. There's an Agni gonna find a stun onto X. Rolling Assault used to get back out of the line of out of the line of fire, but he is still in the middle of this fight as Perfy does rotate over. Kenway does pick up X finally, looking for the kill on Arcade. Not quite gonna find that, as well as a Shining Metal stun. Gonna catch Hugh, but not gonna be enough to find blood over there. Right lane. Skrill did finally find that outer tower. That's going to free him up to roam around the map a little bit. It's one of those key things in the solo laner. You look to get that tower down. As the pause does come out, looks like X might have actually disconnected during that fight. This isn't a terrible thing, though, guys. We can take a moment here to look at some items and things like that without interruptions by those pesky team fights. One of the hardest things in Smite, if you look at like League of Legends compared to Smite sometimes, League of Legends is a much slower game. There's lots of room for color casting and analysis during a match. Smite, there are some of these games where it's like you have a little block of time, you can talk, analyze, color cast all you want, and then suddenly it's like this string of fight after fight after fight after fight, and you can't get a word in edgewise for items. So story time aside, let's take a look at what some of these players are picking up right now. We do have a Weakening Curse coming out of Single. He's going to be looking to shut down some of that healing coming out of Ra, as well as eventually the lifesteal off of Kenway, and perhaps Cyan, he does have that Bancroft's Talisman, going to give him a decent amount of magical lifesteal as well. Supports almost both have the Sovereignty online. That's a pretty big deal in the team fights. Right now, Arcade does have about a 1,000 gold lead on Geb compared to Athena. So having that Sovereignty with that aura protection, giving a little bit of magical and physical protection to all of his teammates in a fight. This is actually a South American tournament. This is, they're sort of equipped, this is the, the Smite Supreme Deities tournament. They're essentially equivalent of wild cards. They have one more tournament coming up at the beginning of December that will decide who goes on to Worlds from Latin America, South America. I'm not sure on the regional titles and stuff. But, it was never cast in English, so for Smite VOD, I'm going to cast some stuff of my own. Have a co-caster for some games later on in the week who's going to be helping me out. We're going to get some of these games to you guys, let you see what's going on in some other regions besides North America and North America and Europe. Taking a look down at some more of these items, though. Heavy Hammer on Shock. We did kind of see Heavy Hammer fall off a little bit. It was typically used as an early game rush item for a while. You could pick that up as well as a Hand of the Gods and a potion. That'd be pretty set for early lane if you wanted to go that route. If you got an auto attack on someone, got into range, you kind of just lock them down, slow them forever, and they could never actually escape. It worked quite well, all said and done. With the nerf, though, you can no longer pick up a whole bunch of stuff in addition to it. It was increased to 1350, so you can still get Heavy Hammer and a couple potions, but that's about the extent of it. So it's still a way to go, but it's more of a if we go this, we need to get kills, and if we don't, we're in trouble. So I've seen it used a couple times in tournament style. It's viable, but risky. This time it was picked up, though, as a second item, so not looking for that early rush. Chuck did go with the Warrior Tabi, so that'll give him a decent amount of power, as well as penetration. Possible fight here, breaking out mid lane, some nice damage coming onto Hugh. He does not have, actually does have that sovereignty commit Valkyrie's Discretion coming up a little bit late to catch Hugh. Looking for some damage on the Cyan. With that decreased range and radius of effect on the Valkyrie's Discretion, you have to be careful with using that. Don't want to be too far away and end up wasting your ultimate. It's also a great banish. You can banish yourself across the skies coming from Apollo. He's going to be looking to help out in this Gold Fury. He's rotating around the skies, going to go down right on top of it, looking for the steal, looking for the deny. Proofy, though, up in the air with the fire shards, does find the kill into Athena. They did pick up the Gold Fury for Ragnarok. They're going to be the second of the game. Hugh running for his life now. Single, one more Thunder Strike. Not going to be enough, but in the front line, actually, no. Thunder Strike and the Torrent combo, I believe, from Single was enough to pick that one up. Going to put the Ragnarok up 17-5. Now they're going to be looking for this mid lane tower with those clay soldiers from New Wad. They don't have to worry about tanking up those tower shots. Good see Arcade throw up that stone shield. Not quite needed. You got those New Wad minions up there. Still on cooldown, though. This time it will be Arcade taking up this tower. See him drop aggro here just a moment as that middle tower does fall as well. They could potentially look for Gold Fury or perhaps just some buffs, or Fire Giant, excuse me, not Gold Fury. A tower, perhaps Fire Giant. Hugh is still up, so it'll be a little bit of a risky Fire Giant play. It looks like they're just going to go for the right lane outer tower, get that off the table. Free Single up to roam himself as well. Chalk has some pretty decent wave clear, but Rod does as well. It's a bit of a hard time to actually push a wave into tower, to tank those up, to take a tower down when it's Chalk versus Ra. With that tower down, Single will now be able to roam around the map, as Skrill has been able to for about the past 7-8 minutes or so now. So we'll be seeing some more solo lane interaction with the rest of these team fights. A little disappointing that blue buff just left to rot on the ground. No one wanted it. How disappointing. Do your support now. Support. Who doesn't love cooldown reduction on support? But no, you let it rot on the ground. Just why? Why would you do that? I don't know. Sometimes in the middle of, your play calling and you forget things like picking up the buffs, and by the time someone realizes, hey, did anyone get that? No. Well, it's too late by then, because you can't go back anymore, because people are coming your way to try and kill you. So, yeah. Taking a look at gold and experience right now, it looks like Ragnarok has pushed their lead up to about 9,600 experience, 14,000 in their favor. Those level differences are going to be pretty big going forward, looking level to, from role to role. Supports have a 4-level advantage. The soul laners sitting at a 2-level advantage. Hunters, where is Ram? Ram is down there. 1-level advantage on the Hunters, not too bad there. Jungler, 3-level advantage. That's going to be a pretty big deal, especially once I start to get 20, that last little power spike. But if Ragnarok can't start to close this game out soon enough, that level advantage is going to fall off as both teams begin to approach level 20. Kenway was forced up and across the skies. Fear No Evil does come out. Gonna look for some aggression, not gonna find it. The snipe from Rod did find Proofy in the back. That's gonna be a decent little bit of damage, but it looks like for now, Ragnarok just gonna turn their attention to that left lane outer tower. They will find that will be their 4th tower of the game. Only the 2 inner towers on the outside lane standing. Cyan caught out in the back line. Night Owl gonna find that one. A little bit of opposition, as well as Hugh. The body blocking coming in. He manages to sneak his way through, but not alive. They do find the kill just under the edge of that tower. Now they're turning their attention to more kills, actually, in the backline as Astral Barrage coming down from Rom. He's going to look for the kill onto the Monkey. Third shot, not going to connect. Fire shards from Proofy, though, will be picking that one up. As back in this lane, they're going to turn their attention now to this tower. I'm curious if they look to go for the Phoenix right now, or if they possibly consider a Fire Giant. Right? Both are on the table. They are backing. They might. Golden Hand is a decent amount for all gods, all set. All those players, yeah, words, all said and done. Curious what they do. Gold Fury. Gold Fury is on the table in about a minute and a half, but Fire Giant is on the table, and it looks like that is what they will be going for right now. We'll see if Dupla de Cinco is able to rotate over and respond to this one. Night Owl going to go ahead and clear out this mana buff quickly, get to them Proofy in case a fight does come out. If they don't go for the Fire Giant, this will either be bait or we'll see a Fire Giant dance come out, but either way, it looks like they will have started this one up. This is going down quite quick. 50%, 40%, 30, there it is, 30% threshold, Wrath of the Gods. That's a Fire Giant going more or less uncontested. They did win team fight beforehand, so good pickup by them. Vanish coming out to Skrill. This isn't going to end well once he lands. Look at the body blocks. The Wiggles in this case not going to be enough. Skrill will fall as now Ragnarok turns their attention to this inner right lane tower. Dupla de Cinco probably going to let this one just drop as, well, it just dropped, so they don't have much choice in the matter. But they're going to have to look to make their possible last stand here shortly. Will it be one of these Phoenix, or are they going to just let those drop and hold out the Titan? That's going to be the question. Looks like not much choice, though. Fear No Evil does come out. Arcade knocked towards the front line. Good damage put on him, but he's the tanky support. Not really the one doing the damage in these fights. They got to watch out for that one. Hugh in the front, though, looking to tank up what he can, looking to start this fight out. Storm Call, Supercharge coming down and finding him, knock him through. Single getting the kill onto Kenway. Rolling Assault coming out. They want to get Hugh off this map. They might just look for objectives. We'll see what they look to do here. Shockwave, Panther Strike, gonna get Hugh out alive. For now, they are just going for these Phoenix. They want these on the table. They want more fire minions swarming down these lanes. Second Phoenix of the game, gonna go to Ragnarok. They're not even paying attention to that left lane Phoenix right now as they are turning their attention to the Titan and the base of Dupla de Cinco. They could look to end this one out right now. The Titan is below half, about 25% health. They are looking for it, ladies and gentlemen. Aegis coming out from the Athena. The defensive efforts by Dupla de Cinco in Game 1 of this best-of-3 series not going to be enough. Ragnarok going to take the victory 24 minutes, 28 seconds into the game. We'll see if next game Dupla de Cinco can pull this back out, take us to an ace match, or if Ragnarok will take this in a 2-0 sweep. And why did we go to 1/4 speed here? I'm not entirely sure why, but we're watching the Titan die very slowly and agonizingly. As I will actually see if I can... No, my mouse is dead. I can't actually control this, so we'll continue to slowly watch the Titan die before getting to post-game, where we can actually start a post-game analysis quickly of this game before moving on to game number 2. Yeah, there's some little Chalk shenanigans. I don't know if he was having connection issues earlier on. He was running into a wall at one point, but it either could have been a connection issue they didn't pause for, or perhaps just some mind gaming stuff coming out. I'm not entirely sure, in all honesty. But could have gone either way. Actually, Chalk is on Ragnarok. There was a pause out by Ragnarok earlier, so it could have been a connection issue. Now that I remember, there was a pause. Really, quarter time. This is taking forever. Oh, wait, we got the end of replay error. There we go, guys. We are into post-game stuff. So taking a look at these, at the scoreboard here, whatever we're looking at. Proofy, in the end, coming out 8-0-8. Just go ahead and jump over. I believe Proofy will have been top damage in the game, was doing just a ton of roaming, ton of ganking. Actually, not top damage. X did get that on Rom. He did quite well as well. 3-2-11. Just was not able to find those killing blows. It's annoying as a hunter, but when you're sitting there 20,000 damage despite not having that big kill number on the front of the KDA score, you can't complain terribly about that. But going back to the items, taking a look at what these players are picking up. Type a little in chat there. Got my capital C in the wrong spot, but anyway, whatever. It happens. Taking a look at some of these items picked up here. There was no healer. I just double check this before I say it definitely. Yeah, there was no healer on the side of Ragnarok, so the Weakening Curse wasn't needed. I don't know. Sometimes these post-game analysis, you look at these items, like nothing really stands out. Everyone kind of built what they needed to build. You have the 80 carry builds that are fairly typical and standard. You're going to see the Devourer's Gauntlets 90% of the time. You're going to see the Warrior Tabby into the Executioner, into the Rage, unless you're Artemis, in which case you can rush Deathbringer because your passive increases your crit chance. You have little things like that. Supports, they get forced into that Watcher's Gift Midas Sovereignty thing. Looking at the other gods, though, everything is kind of standard. Ra has a couple of build options available to him. You can look for the quick spammy build with the Shoes of Focus, Chronos Pendant, potentially a Breastplate of Valor. You want your cooldown reduction up so you can use your abilities frequently. Searing Pain is on like a 30-second cooldown when you have max cooldown reduction, which is just stupid. It's like you can use it twice in a team fight. It's crazy, annoying, and stuff. There's no bots. I'm sorry. And I think I should be a mod. I don't know. Twitch doesn't like to cooperate. I set this all up like an hour ago, and I don't have a bot. So, behave. Other than that, Weakening Curse did come out on shock. Some teams underestimate the healing potential of some of these gods, so seeing that picked up is good. And I'm not just saying like, oh, you know, in a casual game where it's no-name people don't realize, oh, you need a Weakening Curse to deal with Ra. We've seen it on some pretty decent semi-pro teams. I mean, teams who have taken games off of the likes of like Agilitas, Aquilas, as they are now known, Mortality Esports. I mean, these are some pretty decent players who are actually able to beat pro teams. And they'll go into a game just like, oh, yeah, there's a Ra. Whatever, we'll deal with them. And there's no Weakening Curse, there's no Divine Ruin, there's no Brawler's Beat Sticks, and then it's like you look at the post-game and say, oh, Ra healed 28,000 damage. Wow, he just eliminated the damage from 2 players. When only see 2,100 healing, Ra was basically... Ra was kind of over in that solo lane forever. Solo lane islanding up for most of the game. He only got his tower down at around the, was it about 12, 13, 14 minute mark, so kind of late. But before I start rambling on about story stuff, I really don't have much else to say about this. Fairly typical build pickups. I think, given that they were falling behind, the Breastplate of Valor kind of might have been a better choice for Ra, give him a little bit more defensive stats, let him stay alive a little bit more in team fights. Even a Mail of Renewal, potentially. A little bit of a different one. You don't get as much mana, or you don't get any mana, but you get health instead, as well as that nice, here is some health back when you get a kill or assist type thing. So I think some more defensive-y kind of options coming out from Dupla de Cinco might have been the better option. Nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, before I start rambling on too much, I'm going to go ahead and cut to a quick break, get myself a little glass of water, set up the next game. We'll be back here in about 2 or 3 minutes. Stick around, enjoy the music. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with Game 2 from this best-of-3 match from the South American Smite Supreme Deities tournament. This is a bottom bracket game, double elimination bracket, that whole thing. I don't have a link, so for the moment you'll have to just believe me on that one. That said, this is Game 2. Dupla de Cinco down a match to Ragnarok. The question is going to be, can Ragnarok take this in a 2-0 sweep, or will Dupla de Cinco force this to a ace match? In Game 3, we'll be finding out here shortly. This is Game 2, taking a look at the picks and bans, though, that we don't, once again, no picks and bans as a proper picks and bans sequence, which is disappointing. Those are always sometimes fun to look at, how they actually come out. We can see the bans, however, which is fortunate. We do see the new WA banned out by Ragnarok. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and say that the bans are reversed. This is an issue with the client. They sometimes will do that. I'm assuming the bans on the right side of the screen are in fact Dupla de Cinco. Dupla de Cinco is in fact blue. We do see the 2d5 tag on the players in the center of the screen right now. So Dupla de Cinco did ban out that Nuwa ban. We saw Proofy do extremely well on Nuwa last game. The other bans looking reasonably similar. Who was it in the mid lane? I believe it was Cyan on Agni did quite well as well. So a little bit of respect bans, some respect bans coming out towards both mid laners this game around. But all said and done, Sylvanas, Cirquet, and Mercury banned out. No one wants to deal with those heavy burst damage. Just, you don't want to deal with those guys. And I might have lumped Sylvanas in with the assassin. Sylvanas not an assassin, but Cirquet and Mercury. Mercury goes into full-blown hyper carry mode. He can go kind of still anywhere. He can do Hunter, he can do jungle, he can do solo lane to a good degree still, even post Major Look nerf. Cirquet, so much mobility, she's impossible to catch with her Death's Bane, and the ambush, oh, we hit Cirquet, and oh, look, she's halfway across the map already. Didn't even channel it, she's just like Death Bane, ambush, boom, jump really quickly, and she's gone, we can't kill her. And then her initiation potential, she has that last breath for ultimate, applies a stun, applies a pretty long poison that can potentially end up spreading true damage to an entire team, so you don't want to deal with that. Taking a look at these team lineups, though, for Dupla de Cinco, In the blue trunks, left side of your spectator UI, defending that Titan of Order, we do have Kenway on the Rom this time around. Athena once again on Hunbat. Cyan in the mid lane as Giannis this time around. Skrill playing Shock, and Hugh on Kumbhakarna this time around. For Ragnarok, we do have Night Owl, yeah, we're not going to go there. Mandragadua, yeah, no. That's my attempt at the name. It's clearly not happening. So we'll just keep going with Night Owl, because that's roughly what it translates to, I believe, according to Google Translator. So we're going to go with that. Arcade as support, playing Geb. X on Apollo this time around. The Hunters did switch sides. Or the gods for the Hunters switch sides, anyway. Proofy in the mid lane this time around as Zhang Kui. And Single in the solo lane as Vamana. So some different picks coming up this time around. We'll go ahead and get this game rolling now. Hopefully they give us a little bit of time to take a look at these lineups. Proofy did quite well last time around on Nuwa. The fire shards of her, people get annoyed a little bit by the fact that she can apply global damage. It's as it was eloquently put on Sunday by F. and Hindu Man. Fire shards is in fact a skill shot. You need to make sure that someone on the enemy team is alive. You use it when they're dead, you kind of miss, so it's a little minuscule, tiny amount of skill involved with it. But the big thing people complain about the damage on it. The more powerful aspect that people might not realize is the fact that it reveals the entire enemy team. You can see where they are and potentially set up even just crazy plays. And oh, someone's not on his way here, or he's across the map in the jungle. We don't have to worry about him for 10-20 seconds or so. We can gank right lane. We can do this. We can do that. The vision of it is often just completely ignored, as powerful as it is. So all said and done, Proofy is on Zhang Kui this time around. You can kind of press 4 with the Recall Demons out, or with the protections from Recall Demons. You become super tanky. You kind of just hold W and you do damage to everyone, and everyone dies horribly and disgustingly. So we'll see how that ends up working out this time around. If it, well, this time around, it usually works out reasonably well. There is no Nemesis on the side of Dupla de Cinco. Nemesis generally considered the hard counter to Zhang Kui with her Divine Judgment, strips his protections right back off as soon as he pops Recall Demons. And suddenly you have a Zhang Kui doing a lot of damage real quickly, but he is then squishy, so he's easy to deal with. Other than that, as these teams begin to get underway, it looks like we're not going to be seeing any early game shenanigans coming out. No invades this time around either. We'll see going to lane, as the lane phase gets underway here, what teams look to do. Maybe we'll have a little bit more of a quicker startup to this game. See, maybe an early first blood, perhaps. The solo lane matchup's going to be kind of a stalemate to an extent. Vamana does... Ooh, actually, I like this right now. Thor is going to likely be looking for an attack speed buff steal. Potentially, no, he does not have Tectonic Rift yet. Not really going to have much in the way of gank opportunity here in the mid lane. He could look for a little bit of damage, as Cyan will use a portal to get back safely to the tower. But we had probably... What's he going to put his next rank of stuff into? Berserker Barrage. He's just actually going to go ahead and rotate over for the damage buff. So perhaps that whole attack speed buff meta that EU has been seeing recently hasn't quite been... what's what I'm looking for here? We're not seeing the same metas, perhaps. They're going for that early damage buff, going and get that in the mid laner, which is good. It helps them out. EU, though, we've been seeing a lot of early, full 4-man rotation. The duo lane, mid laner, and jungle have been looking to steal the blue side attack speed buff. It's a quite aggressive play. The enemy team blue side can collapse in on that. You do end up pincered out with enemies on both sides of you. But you can just say, okay, we're 4 men, we're just going to walk through 2 of you and get out safely. And a lot of teams haven't figured out a way to deal with that. Here, we're not quite seeing that being utilized. Just pick up those damage buffs. Pretty simple, straightforward stuff. Level 5 is rapidly approaching. This wave might get it for Thor. We could, yeah, there it is. Anvil of Dawn now online. We'll see if any other ultimates online quite just at the moment. It looks like Night Owl going to be looking for an attack speed buff steal. He does not have Hand of the Gods to steal that one away. Mjolnir's attunement, though, will be enough. With that double tap, he's going to pick up that steal just in a 1v1 situation, so good play by him. Getting himself off to a little bit of an early game start, just a 245 gold lead. Nothing too major, but you know, that's a free ward or 2 when you go back to base. You know, little things like that don't hurt in the slightest. Other than that, keep seeing Chalk use the Thunderstrike Torrent combo to teleport himself around. I think like something exciting is happening in solo lane, but no, just kind of chilling. Anvil of Dawn, though, up from Night Owl. He's looking for the gank. He does find the stun onto Kenway. There's the Tectonic Rift. He's not going there for the moment. Berserker Barrage is out. Rolling Assault, not coming out in time. Hugh has to be careful now as well. They're looking for this kill. he is down into that sleepy passive at the edge of the tower. That's going to be a kill going on to X. He's going to find the second blood of the game. So right now, Ragnarok up 2-0. Going to have themselves a nice little early game lead. That's one of those scary things you have to watch out for. As soon as Anvil of Dawn is online, you need a lot more wards on the map. You can hide in the Gold Fury pit, you can hide in that Fire Giant pit, and gank either of the outer lanes from quite a good distance away. Looks like Ragnarok now looking to contest these mid-harpies as well. Unstable Vortex going to be a little late, not quite able to find that steal. Looks like Skrill going to be trying to pick up these right side harpies quickly. No one rotating out from Ragnarok. They're just going to let these go over to Dupla de Cinco. Why push your luck early when you already, you got a 2-kill lead? Splitting the harpy is not the end of the world. Single could look to get some damage onto Skrill. Colossal Fury is online. I think everyone has ultimates online right now except for the supports. So no epic uppercut or cataclysm out quite yet. But first backs have come out from a bunch of gods right now. Apollo has completed his Devourer's Gauntlets. Those stacks are going to be building. Ram a little... Where is he? What am I looking for? Is that Ram? Yes, that is Ram. Blue side. Where is he on this list? Golden Hand. Oh, that's disappointing. He died. He did not have the Golden Hand for the Devourer's Gauntlets at that point, so he was forced back to lane. He's not going to be getting stacks quite yet, and given that Apollo's going to be there, he's going to either look to have to just give up a couple waves of minion gold and potentially experience by Apollo being able to push them into the tower, or he sticks around, and as those stacks begin building on the Devourer's Gauntlets, he's going to be at a real big disadvantage. Especially given the Audacity passive on Apollo, giving him increased attack speed every 10 shots for 5 shots, which is a pretty nice little steroid, as well as the Serenade giving him extra physical protections. But it looks like Kenway gonna go ahead back to base after clearing that wave out, pick himself up at that Devourer's Gauntlets. Finally, he's only gonna be about 15 stacks behind, all said and done. Off this next wave, it'll be 21 stacks or so, 20 stacks, give or take a couple stacks. Other than that, looks like 2 Runeforged Hammers getting picked up. Mana started with the Tier 2, the Smithy's Hammer. Chalk has one now as well, actually, looking at the position that they both Soul Laners started with the Smithy's Hammer, it looks like. Yep, a physical protection now. We do have Anvil of Dawn coming up mid lane. Likely gonna look for Hugh. Perhaps they're across the skies as well. They're looking for some blood in the mid lane. Looks like Cyan gonna get caught out on that one as well as Hugh. Why is my camera sideways? I don't know. This isn't supposed to be happening. What is going? I don't know what's going on. There we go. We fixed it. Calling it why you do these things to me as we look at the back of a tower as Hunbats is forced to somersault away from that one. So good gank mid lane, going for another kill in the way. I'm having trouble with words now. Another kill going the way of Ragnarok. Going forward, taking a look at gold and XP difference. It's going to be an 1800 gold lead, 2700 experience lead going the way of Ragnarok. Right now, they're getting themselves set up early for a potential nice 2-0 sweep. Dupla de Cinco, though, not down and out yet. They have not thrown the towel quite yet. Their Titan is still standing. No surrender vote has come out, ladies and gentlemen, though. So they are still in this for the long haul. Left lane, perhaps a little bit of aggression coming out onto Kenway. He's got to be careful. We'll use the Rolling Assault slow arrow to stop the pursuit from X. As a couple arrows later, that wave will be more or less killed off. Mid Harpy is now respawning, gonna be quickly picked up there by Arcade. As no, client, don't do this to us. We don't like stasis mode. I'll take a sip of water here quick and hope this resolves itself. Wait, nice sip of water. Still cannot play. So we are going to go ahead and take this opportunity to look at what is going on right now in this game. We do have the Lost Artifact picked up on Yanis. He could potentially look to upgrade that soon into a Chronos Pendant. He could hold out for that Rod of Tahuti. Won't quite get the cooldown reduction off of that one. So we'll see how that goes exactly. Either one will work quite well. The Rod of Tahuti will give him a huge amount of burst damage. And if the stasis mode does not end itself here in just a moment... Speed things up, perhaps. It's actually just the server saying, no, we cannot advance right now. So we'll hit a rewind quick, unpause the game, and see what ends up happening. If we can't get past that, we'll have to remake or restart the replay and go forth from there. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, Rod of Tahuti will give Yanis a good amount of burst. The cooldown reduction, though, coming out of Chronos Pendant will be quite nice of him as well. Extra mana regeneration will help a ton as well. I believe it is 25 mana per 5, or 5 mana increase per second. It's, I believe, the equivalent of a mana buff. I believe the mana buff is 5 per second. It looks like we are having issues with the replay at this point in time, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this to a quick break. Enjoy the music, guys. We'll be back here at the 6-minute 25-second mark in just a moment, in theory, with the rest of this game. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize. It looks like this is, in fact, a bugged replay. This is the end of it. About 20 seconds before this point in the replay, it is impossible to speed it up beyond one-time speed. So unfortunately, cannot bring you the remainder of this match. I do have a screenshot of the post-game, though, from the results posted by these teams. If OBS will cooperate here for just a moment, I can put those up on screen for you. Unfortunately for... where are they? Dupla de Cinco, they were not able to turn this game back around after the early game lead came out in the way of Ragnarok. So Ragnarok will have taken this series in a 2-0 sweep. As I pull my OBS over here so I can actually see the results. It looks like Proofy once again going crazy, finding 13 assists, 4-0-8 in the way of single, and a nice 10-1-6 score in the end for X, doing a lot of damage there as well. So overall, unfortunately not able to bring you the remainder of this match, and well, there's no Game 3, unfortunately, as Ragnarok did take it in a 2-0 sweep. So that will be the end of this particular matchup, and as I was not able to find any of the replays, I was hoping for a best of 3 here in all honesty, but it went 2 games. I would have at least liked 2 full games, but alas, this is what we ended up with. So we're stuck for the moment. The conclusion of the Smite Supreme Deities tournament, though, is this weekend, November 15th and 16th. It will be cast on the Smite LU Twitch channel, I believe, starting at noon Eastern. I think I have that on screen here still somewhere. I can verify that in just a moment. I don't have the time actually on this thing, yeah, so this weekend will be the conclusion of this tournament. I will be streaming some of these matches Saturday evening as well as Sunday evening after the conclusion of the what's this weekend? The wildcards. Not wildcards, regionals. This is the North American regionals this weekend, I believe. I should know this because, well, I'm going to be putting these videos up on Smite VOD here shortly. Or, well, this weekend, not shortly. This will be the European Regional Championship LAN this weekend on the 15th and 16th. The scheduling for that, I'm not entirely sure on yet, but at some point in the evening. The videos for this weekend will be probably delayed by about 10 hours or so for those, just because I will be doing a bunch of streaming during the day. That said and done, guys, once again, I do apologize for the fact that I wasn't able to actually bring you a full set of games. Would have liked to, but between some little difficulty setting this up. If you think this is worth doing, though, let me know, give me a little bit of feedback. I will have a co-caster in theory for some of the remainder of these games. And just within a couple of people mentioned that they would like to see some games from different regions. But unfortunately, there are currently no casters doing those games in English, so enter me. So all said and done, guys, like I said, give me a little bit of feedback. These videos, or at least the first game, will be up on Smite VOD some point tonight or tomorrow morning. I'll be asking for feedback there as well. In theory, I will also have some better stream graphics set up if I go to do this long term, but for now, that will be it, guys. You can add me on Twitter if you want, twitter.com/thezioden. I'll throw that in chat because why not plug myself occasionally. You can also find me on Twitch. I don't stream a whole lot, but twitch.tv/zioden. And you can also catch me occasionally doing the EGL cast during the week, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on twitch.tv/EGLTV. Thanks a lot for coming around, guys. Feel free to comment or follow here on Smite VOD. Find me when I go live for these in the future at some point in time. Thank you guys very much for sticking around and watching. Enjoy the music for a little bit, and otherwise, have a great night.